Hi, everyone. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and of course, all anyone can talk about is gratitude, right? And it's amazing. Well, that and, sales. Um, but it's so interesting to me that this time, the holiday season, is the time that therapists will tell you we are the busiest. And that if you really talk to people, most people are not at all like living anything close to what we see in the media. So, so this time of year is presented as like everybody's with family and it's so special and it's so warm and there's so much to be grateful for. And the truth is that the majority of people don't get to be with their families usually or don't live near them. That plenty of people do not like getting together with their families. That's also a reality. And that this time can actually be really stressful and really hard. It can actually be a lot more involved than the way we talk about it. Like, oh, it's so perfect and so wonderful. I used to think that too, by the way. And then like had to kind of just face reality of like, oh, actually, this is a little bit more complicated, isn't it? And it was really interesting. The reason I felt like I wanted to share today is because um, I have a couple coaching groups that I work with on a weekly basis. And so for both of those groups this week, we did different practices around gratitude and just preparing for seeing family again that we maybe haven't seen in a long time, dealing with challenges around that. Um, and how do you awaken gratitude when it's hard to be grateful, when you don't feel that maybe, or when how do you manage the emotions coming up that are sort of in your face when maybe those around you are with family and you don't get to be. And it was really interesting to see um, just how many of our group participants, like the majority, did not spend this time with family or with loved ones for a number of reasons coming up, whether that was illness, but it's just there's a whole slew of reasons. For each person, it was different. It was really the minority that um, we're getting the Thanksgiving weekend that is portrayed in the media. Um, so I just wanted to take a moment to kind of touch on that because I think it relates to so many of us, and that's actually probably the majority of what this weekend was for most people. Challenge, learning how to navigate our communication with different family members, facing different things, having to face news that maybe you hadn't shared yet. Or avoiding certain conversations. There are so many things at play, right? Excuse me. So, so there were a couple things that I just wanted to share. So one is, first of all, it's really understandable that sometimes it's hard to be grateful. And when it's hard to be grateful, when we're just going through a tough time, and then on top of that, the whole world seemingly is oozing gratitude, which is a little like, can't say it's true or sincere, but it seems that way. Um, that can be extra hard. So I just want to encourage everyone, like, just be gentle with yourselves. Know that, understand that. And please understand that you're not the only one facing that and experiencing that. And secondly, I find that perspective is everything. So it does help to talk to someone else. It does help to realize, like, oh, most people are not whatever the media portrays, and a lot of people are actually home. Maybe I should get together with those people. Everybody's sitting at home, anyways, right? Um, or learning, So I was in a conversation this week where, one person was sad that they couldn't go to be with their family, and another was saying, like, unfortunately, like her immediate family members were all facing very serious situations, and so she was in a very emotional state. Like, well, this wasn't about like, oh, we're missing Thanksgiving dinner. It was like, okay, like I hope that like they're going to be healthy in a few days. Um, and be in my life in the same way. So it was interesting to just see how that shifted everything for the rest of us in that conversation of just realizing, oh, okay, there's perspective, right? So perspective is really, really, really important. And you can use that with yourself also, even if you're not in conversation with someone else. What you can do is think about what you have right now that you didn't have last year, that you didn't have last week, that you didn't have last month. What you can do is look at your situation and say, yeah, this is tough. This is not ideal. And also look at what does exist right now. Look at how I am taken care of in spite of, okay, it's not perfect. It's not how I would like it to be. I would love, the ideal would be that I'm with a family right now. But the ideal would be that I have a loving relationship with a family or that my family exists, right? Everybody's in a different position. Um, but to really look at what you do have. Um, so one of the practices for this that I recommend is just to take it outside of it being about Thanksgiving, and just focus on, like, 10 things that feel like blessings in your life. What are 10 blessings in your life that when you sit with them and focus on them and really feel them and really activate them and really amplify them? Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a memory, maybe it's an experience, maybe it's just having a roof over your head. Like, I mean, seriously, but I always encourage people to, like, go even deeper than that. Like, I'm housed, I'm supported, I'm cared for, right? Um, and and to really sit with that list and be with it and activate it and awaken it inside of you, um, so that the noise around Thanksgiving, which is it's a beautiful time. I mean, it's such a beautiful time. I love this. I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying, like, it's not what it seems to be. This, can we just, like, be real about this? Like, let's just get real. Like, it's not actually how it's portrayed. Okay, very few people have the Thanksgiving as it's portrayed. Most people, there's conflict. It didn't work out. We can't fly. This one's in the hospital. Like, this family member isn't talking to that family member. Like, there's just stuff. Like, that's actual reality. That's real life. That is real life. So if we can get real for a second, which is what I would like to do, let's just get real. So putting that aside, let's look at it as just another weekend, just another Thursday, just another weekend, right? It doesn't have to be in the context of Thanksgiving weekend. Focus on your blessings, even if they're small, but try to find the big ones and stay with that as much as possible. And one of those blessings might actually be that you got to hear this video today. I'm not saying that out of ego. I'm saying that because you might have to work hard to find something. And it might just feel good. And, like, maybe you get to have a little bit of, like, blessing and the relief that you're not the only one not having the perfect Thanksgiving weekend, right? So, not that we want anyone else to struggle, but I think it's really important. Most of our suffering comes from our perceived reality around us. It's only our perception. It's not just our perception, it's what we're being fed, but that's not actual truth. It's not actual reality. So I just want to share this today. And I know it's so ironic because I'm the gratitude person, because I'm the optimism person, because I'm the one who's always talking about, like, it's the worst situation and I see the good. And yet here it is. It's like the weekend of gratitude. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, can we get real though? Like, that's not actually authentically what's happening for most people. So the other thing I would say is, if you did get that beautiful picture perfect weekend, be compassionate to someone who didn't get to be with their family. Invite them over, check on them, let them know you're grateful for them. Let them know what they mean in your life. Be understanding, especially when everybody gets back to the office tomorrow, that not everyone is going to have that same story to tell this weekend and how wonderful it was to be with their family. It could be very, very complicated. So hold space for that, be honoring of that. Still celebrate yourself. I'm never the person who's like, well, you have to, like, be quiet because you don't want to upset someone. No, 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 no. Like, own your own gratitude. That's beautiful. And also just know that someone else might not be in that situation. And we very quickly make the assumption that, like, this is just what the whole society is doing right now. And it's just not true. So I just wanted to get real and authentic with everyone right now. And I hope the steps help. And and I hope you have a really, really, really beautiful week with a lot of gratitude. And remember that gratitude is a muscle and you have to work it. If you're looking around you going, why is everybody else so grateful and I'm not? It's not because you don't have something to be grateful for. It's because gratitude is a muscle. So start today. Just write 3 things down that you're grateful for and do it again tomorrow and do it again the day after that. Start that. And it's a muscle. You're literally rewiring the brain. The brain will not be grateful. The brain is hardwired to look at all the things going wrong, and that's in order to protect you. But what's actually in this society and in this day and age actually going to protect you is gratitude, is being able to focus on what you do have. So every day, write down the things you're grateful for and start to build that muscle and to create those neurons in your brain. The brain is plastic, which means you can create the neurology, but you have to get in charge of that. So I hope that helps as well. and makes the rest of the season a little bit easier for those who find this time of year challenging. And I am blessing everyone with just a beautiful, beautiful time with lots of health and lots of happiness and lots of joy and lots of family, and just feeling fulfilled and feeling really surrounded by love. Thank you. Thank you for being in my life, and thanks for listening.